Chapter 2. Programming the Child Within. How childhood experiences wire your subconscious. Childhood is not just a phase of life. It is the foundation upon which the rest of your psychological architecture is built. During the first 7 years of life, a child's brain is in an accelerated state of development, functioning primarily in lower-frequency brainwave states like theta and alpha. These are the same states adults enter during hypnosis or deep meditation, where the mind becomes highly impressionable. In this stage, a child absorbs information directly into the subconscious without analyzing, filtering, or questioning it. Everything, from how they are spoken to how emotions are handled in the home, whether affection is given freely or conditionally, and how mistakes are treated, becomes data the subconscious stores as truth. If a child receives love only when they achieve something, they may grow up believing their worth is conditional. If they are constantly criticized, they may internalize the idea that they are inherently flawed. These messages do not arrive in full sentences. They are absorbed through tone, consistency, emotion, and repetition. Over time, these experiences wire the subconscious with emotional blueprints that guide adult behavior, often without the individual realizing it. What you fear, what you crave, how you deal with conflict or love, and even how you speak to yourself today may all be rooted in experiences your younger mind didn't fully understand, but never forgot. Childhood doesn't just shape memory, it silently programs identity. Case study: fear of failure traced back to a single comment from age 6. At first, Marcus didn't understand why he always held himself back. He was talented, intelligent, and creative. Yet every time an opportunity came that required him to take a risk, he hesitated. Whether it was applying for a leadership role, starting a business, or even sharing his ideas in a meeting, he would find excuses to stay silent or stay small. On the surface, it looked like humility, but inside, it felt like paralysis. A deep, invisible fear that something terrible would happen if he tried and failed. It wasn't until he started working with a cognitive behavioral therapist that a memory surfaced, one he hadn't thought about in years. He was 6 years old, sitting in his first-grade classroom. His teacher had just handed back a drawing he'd proudly submitted for a school art competition. He had worked on it for hours, pouring his imagination onto the page. As she looked at it, she smiled weakly and said, "Not bad, but don't get your hopes up. You're not the best in class." The comment was casual, even well-meaning in tone. But to Marcus' young mind, wide open and unguarded, it felt like rejection. That one sentence planted a subconscious belief: trying leads to disappointment. From that day on, without realizing it, Marcus began associating effort with risk. Not just risk of failure, but risk of humiliation. He didn't stop dreaming, he just stopped acting on his dreams. Decades later, that 6-year-old version of him was still silently influencing his decisions. This case is a powerful example of how the subconscious can record a single emotionally charged moment and turn it into a life-defining belief. A belief that, unless uncovered, can quietly sabotage success for years to come. The neuroscience of early development. The first few years of life are a critical period for brain development, when the human mind is most malleable and most vulnerable. Neuroscience reveals that a child's brain is not fully developed at birth, but evolves rapidly in structure and function throughout early childhood. During this stage, the brain operates primarily in theta and alpha brainwave states, the same slow wave patterns associated with deep relaxation, hypnosis, and suggestibility. In this state, children are essentially living in a trance, absorbing information from their environment without judgment or conscious filtering. The prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for logic, self-control, and critical thinking, remains underdeveloped until the mid-20s, meaning children do not yet have the cognitive tools to question what they experience. Instead, everything, tone of voice, body language, emotional climate, repetition of words or behaviors, gets hardwired into the limbic system and subconscious neural pathways. These early experiences shape not just what a child remembers, but how their brain is physically wired to respond to stress, trust, affection, or danger. Repeated emotional experiences, especially those tied to love, shame, fear, or validation, build the child's internal map of the world. What to expect from relationships, what's safe or unsafe, and whether they are worthy or not. Synaptic connections that are used frequently are strengthened. Those that are not are pruned away, a process known as neural pruning. This makes early life not just a time of emotional learning, but of permanent neural sculpting. Without even realizing it, many adults are walking around with subconscious patterns shaped by a child's brain in a grown body. This is the silent power of early development, and why changing behavior as an adult so often requires going back to where the wiring began. Chapter 3. The Silent Puppet Master.